The Department of Animal Sciences and Industry at Kansas State University has a long and rich history, one written by the thousands of men and women who make up the Flying K. Each shares a love for the land and livestock and advancing the nation's noblest of callings, raising food. The Livestock and Meat Industry Council today celebrates that shared commitment across generations and honors the family and friends who continue Kansas State's legacy of excellence in animal science. For that purpose, LMIC presents the Don L. Good Impact Award. Don Good was a giant in animal science and industry, a man who dedicated more than 40 years to the university and the thousands of students who benefited from his far-reaching guidance. As a livestock judge, professor, coach, and industry leader, he portrayed a spirit of service and pioneering thought innate in his Ohio farm boy roots. These ideals served him well when he was named head of the department in 1966, the same year a devastating tornado destroyed the vast majority of its infrastructure. The Beef Barn, the Beef Teaching and Research Center, the Swine Teaching and Research Center, the Horse and Sheep Centers, the Feed Mill, the Poultry and Dairy Facilities, gone. But devastation and limited disaster funds spurred action, and Good worked with producers in the state to form the Livestock, Meat and Industry Council. Through LMIC, animal science and meat industry leaders channeled contributions to rebuild, implementing cutting-edge research facilities that form the basis of the modern-day campus and animal science advancements. Today, the Council continues to support the department's educational programs, facility enhancements, and research projects. You see, it was Don Good who believed the department should serve the state of Kansas to contribute to the larger livestock industry. Good believed in his students. He believed in Kansas State and driving both to excellence. Good was an evaluator of livestock and a builder of people. His integrity and foresight became the measure by which others would weigh their contributions. Don Good's passion inspired industry game changers.
This year, LMIC recognizes two game changers, a couple dedicated to educating students, serving the meat industry, and promoting food safety, Dr. Dell Allen and his wife, Joyce.
My mom met my dad in a parking lot of an apartment complex. They were married in 1965. Soon after they were married, my dad was finishing up his PhD and was offered a teaching position by Dr. Good at Kansas State, and that was my dad's dream job. So my mom left her life in Michigan and started a new life in Manhattan.
Dell's impact on the meat science industry, again, started as a professor at K-State in meat science. It always ended up relating to that eating experience. As Dell proceeded on with Cargill Industries, I always respected the fact that Dell understood the production of livestock in the meat industry, but he wanted to make sure the consumer had a great eating experience.
Dell's a natural-born teacher and leader. My dad loved about him that he was a charger. He got things done, and he was fearless in trying to address problems and issues.
He set goals on what we needed to achieve. He provided leadership and direction for the company. We were all going the same direction. I can remember some other technical service people that we had that were wishy-washy. Dell wasn't wishy-washy. Dell, he drew a line in the sand and said, this is what we're going to do, and then we executed it.
He was a great mentor, a great teacher, and would do anything for you. He'd teach you everything you needed to know, but you had to do the work. He wasn't going to do the work for you. You had to do the work. I always remember him as one that he stood firm on both feet, looked you straight in the eye, and told you exactly how it was. No question about it.
As a student on his judging team, I think that some of the times I cherished the most were the trips, traveling in the white Plymouth station wagons to wherever we were going.
I didn't know that I'd even be working with Dell that close. There were so many things going on in ground beef. We developed a lean point targeting program, Dell did, our temperature control with all of our chub chillers. We put in bone and defect elimination systems, new improved systems. We went to pause desinewing systems to upgrade ground. We did all these things behind the scenes, and it paid huge dividends.
I've been very honored at the times I've heard Dell make the comment that out of his whole career, that he holds most special is having been a coach. That's special to hear him say that, but at the same time, we realize the sacrifices he made having to be gone, all the time, away from home. And so it's quite a sacrifice.
I've always been impressed by the strength of my parents' marriage. That was most evident at probably the darkest point in our family's lives, and especially in my parents' lives. In July of 1993, my 15-year-old brother Damon and my grandma, my dad's mother, were killed by a drunk driver, and I was seriously injured.
It touched us greatly to see how Dell and his wife Joyce responded to that. I know it was very difficult, but I always admired the strength. They wanted to give back and to try to save some other parent from having the heartbreak that they had gone through. Joyce put together, with the help of the Extension Service, a video against drunk driving. That was always very admirable because they wanted a positive to come out of a negative.
Oftentimes after a tragedy, marriages fall apart, and instead I believe that my parents' marriage grew stronger. Instead of just becoming overcome with their grief and sorrow, they were able to reach out, do some advocacy against drunk driving, get some laws changed in the state of Kansas, and so just worked hard to improve things. So my dad has received numerous awards, but I believe receiving the Don Good Impact Award that recognizes both of my parents is probably going to be the most special award he's ever received. It's a perfect highlight of my dad's 40-plus year career in the meat and food safety industry. And then to also recognize my mom, who was with him the entire journey.
His legacy would have been to improve food safety for the entire industry. He raised the bar. I mean, when it had a long ways to go, he was there to make it happen. There's been fine tuning, but the big heavy lift took place when Dr. Dell Allen was here. He was a visionary. I will say this too. Dell may not have been right 100% of the time, but he was right 95% of the time, and I'll take those odds any day of the week. He just provided tremendous leadership, tremendous example, work ethic.
Having known them since '66, it's just too much to put in a few minutes. But their integrity and being the role model they've been has just been awesome. But to be able to be friends has been very, very special.
I can't think of anybody, especially as a couple, that would be more deserving or thinking through who my folks would approve of. My folks would be overjoyed if they were here today that Dell and Joyce and his family are receiving this award. They're just the embodiment of what was really important in Dad's life, to have an impact on society in many ways. I think Dell and Joyce are the embodiment of that, and doing it as a team. They remind me a lot of my parents, and their goals and missions in life. So, and they want to leave the next generation and this university and mankind better because of their lives.